Right.
Can you give us a couple tips? What are your some favorite comping tips?
Oh man,
Or
comping.
like help. I want them to be able to like do their work,
Right.
run it by you. You be, and then you're like, you know what? Yeah, perfect.
You
You know
got
what
it.
I
Yeah.
mean?
Yep.
Like, all right. And I want the listener also to be like, hey, here's the documents you need. Like, I want everyone to be smooth as possible when they call you.
Yeah.
So, what are some comping tips that you could share?
So comping tips is I have a property that finished product is going to be a 3-2 at least, right? 2-bedroom houses, really harder to sell, right?
Yeah.
So 3-2, 4-2, right? To me, bedroom count doesn't really matter too much. If I have a comp that's a 4-2 and a 3-2, as long as the square footage is virtually, pretty close, within about 20%, I can use both comps.
Got it.
Right. So for me, square footage is really what matters. Location obviously matters.
Right.
One thing to always pay attention to is year built.
Okay.
Right. Because a house from 1950 is probably not going to be the same as a house from 1990. Right.
Yeah.
So I always keep an eye on that.
That's huge because a lot of people, they're always like, oh, they got a 2016 build and they got a 1940 house in the same, because you get those infills that get new builds, but it's like, you can't comp those.
That's exactly it, right? I have investors sometimes send me deals, and everything in the area that's sold in the past 6 to 9 months is a new build, right? And I'm like, I don't have comps for this. I don't know what a rehabbed house is going to sell for.
What do you think about that? Like, let's say a flipper, they're going into a neighborhood with a lot of new builds in the area, or build to rents. There's a lot of that going on.
Right.
New apartment complexes, and you got maybe less housing and or older housing. Do you get that a lot? And what's your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I just think it's a little tougher.
Tougher, okay.
Right? Because again, we want to be partners in the deal. We want to make sure that obviously you guys are making money before we can fund a deal. Right? Everyone has to make money because it's not just us making money. Of course, we're the ones that want to have the most money in the deal, but you got to think about realtor costs, right? You have to think about anything that may go sideways on the house, right? Anything that you weren't expected.
Concessions.
Yeah, concessions. So it's when you're talking about, we have a lot of new builds and stuff like that. Usually we're gonna want maybe 20% down, a little higher down payment. Okay. But yeah, I mean,
just depends on the risk of the property. It's
a risk factor, right?
Okay.
We want to be I don't want to be too conservative ever, right? Because that hurts the investor, right? Because if you're too conservative, then every deal I'm having, you're bringing 20% down, and I don't want my investor bringing 20% down.
What do you guys shoot for? 15?
We're usually at 15 with rehab, 10 without, right?
Okay.
But our 10% down without rehab only applies if the property is $200,000 or more on the purchase price. So typically anything below that, we're going to want either the rehab included, or we're going to want a higher down payment.
What do your loan products look like right now?
So Arizona, we're 11% in a point.
Okay.
Right? So it's really competitive for where we're at. 11% a point.
What's a point? So,
1% of the loan. $100,000, $1,000,
$1,000,
$200,000, $2,000, right?
Got it.
Yeah, we have a $995 doc fee. Right? It's just for paperwork, but other than that, no other costs, right? You're not paying for an appraisal or credit report.
Yep.
None of that.